Okay, let's jump right into today's explainer because we are tackling a concept that honestly breaks the brain a little bit. We're looking at some fascinating source material today that asks a question that probably seems absolutely impossible at first glance. Could money actually just disappear? Or, at the very least, is the money we use today headed for a total, unrecognizable transformation?
Picture this for a second. You wake up tomorrow morning and you're living in a radically different reality. You just ask an AI for a meal, a ride, a house, or even a vacation, and the system simply provides it, no strings attached. You aren't checking your bank balance, you're not waiting around for payday. The resources are literally just there, ready to be allocated to you.
I know. It sounds like pure science fiction, right? No cash in your pocket, no bank accounts, no credit cards, absolutely no price tags. But here's the wild part. The foundational technologies that could actually make this a reality, they're already being built, right now. We're watching AI dramatically slash the cost of human labor, renewable energy is getting cheaper by the minute, and robotic systems are getting incredibly capable.
So, to understand this, let's start with Section 1, Why Money Exists, the Bridge of Value. Think about it. For thousands of years, we've used physical things to represent value. We started with barter, trading grain for livestock. That eventually evolved into shells, then metal coins, then paper notes, and now digital databases. Honestly, most money today isn't even physical anymore. It's just numbers sitting on a server. When you tap your phone for a coffee, you aren't handing over a banknote. A database just updates. So in a way, we're already mostly digital.
The whole point is that money acts as a bridge. Say you've got a farmer who wants a new smartphone. The farmer has a massive surplus of rice, but the tech manufacturer, they probably don't want a truckload of rice. Money steps in as that universal bridge, a common measuring stick. It lets millions of complete strangers coordinate the global economy without ever meeting. So getting rid of money wouldn't just mean ditching paper bills, it would mean replacing humanity's most powerful tool for coordinating value.
Which brings us to Section 2, the Age of Abundance.
Right now, we are seeing an absolute explosion of technologies, completely crushing production costs. We've got AI writing code, robots physically manufacturing products, automated farms growing crops with barely any human intervention, factories running 24/7 in the dark, dirt-cheap solar energy, and local 3D printing. Just think back a few decades. Computers were these massive, multi-million-dollar behemoths. Now, the phone in your pocket is millions of times more powerful and super cheap in comparison. Imagine if that exact same price drop happens to our food, energy, housing, and transportation.
If the cost to produce these things drops towards zero, we enter what economists call a post-scarcity economy. It's a fascinating concept. If electricity gets so incredibly cheap that it actually costs more to track your usage than to just generate the power, charging for it doesn't make sense anymore. Why pay for something when the cost to society to produce one more unit is basically zero?
But there's a catch, which we'll cover in Section 3, the scarcity problem.
As utopian as all that sounds, not everything can be unlimited. Some things will remain stubbornly scarce. Prime real estate is a great example. There's only so much oceanfront property on Earth. Then you have rare minerals, human attention, our time, social status, and truly unique experiences. Even if an AI can pump out a billion gorgeous paintings in 10 seconds, an original human masterpiece, that stays scarce. A front-row ticket to your favorite band, still scarce. And the golden rule here is, wherever scarcity exists, some kind of economic system has to survive to figure out who gets what. That leads us nicely into Section 4, AI and the meaning of work.
You see, money isn't just about buying stuff. It's intimately tied to our time, our skills, our physical labor. It's tied to our jobs. And this AI disruption, it is heading straight for the labor market. Machines don't need a salary, they don't take weekends off, they don't ask for health insurance, and they definitely don't need a 401k. If automated systems become productive enough to handle a massive chunk of our economy, society might actually have the wealth to support everyone, but just lack the traditional jobs to employ everyone. This is exactly why ideas like universal basic income or making essential services public are suddenly gaining so much traction.
Let's pivot and look at another angle in Section 5, the invisible economy.
What if money doesn't actually disappear? It just goes completely behind the scenes. Imagine this. Step 1. You just tell your AI assistant you need a flight tomorrow morning. Step 2. A smart contract instantly scours the web, negotiates, and pays for the best option, no bank needed. Step 3. Your calendar is magically updated. You barely interacted with money at all. You didn't pull out a card, you didn't click authorize. From your perspective as a human, money has practically vanished, even though the economic gears are still spinning wildly in the background.
And to make that invisible economy tick, the whole digital currency landscape is blowing up. It's way beyond cash now. We're talking government-backed digital currencies, massive private payment systems, crypto, programmable money that only spends if certain conditions are met, and tokenized assets. All of these systems are interacting natively on the internet, completely bypassing traditional banks.
But of course, a fully digital economy creates some massive new problems. The more invisible and automated our money gets, the more crucial and honestly vulnerable our financial infrastructure becomes. Who actually controls this system? Who gets to look at your financial data? Could a transaction just get blocked by an automated flag? And seriously, what happens if an AI assistant or a high-speed trading algorithm just makes a mistake?
Let's zoom way out for Section 6, the year 2150.
Let's stretch our imaginations and jump forward to a really extreme scenario where society has fully adopted to this tech. In this future, we might see a really stark divide between basic survival and our scarce wants. Imagine a society that simply guarantees basic resources to everyone. You get abundant energy, automated food, housing, personalized AI healthcare, and education, all for free. You literally don't need money to survive. But for your scarce wants, that beach house, the original artwork, the VIP access, you're still going to need a way to trade value. Ultimately, money only matters when scarcity matters.
Which sets up Section 7 perfectly. Who owns the machines?
This might just be the most critical question in this whole explainer. If AI and robots are generating most of the world's wealth and doing all the heavy lifting, who actually owns them? Our source material maps out two vastly different paths here impartially. In Future A, ownership is concentrated in the hands of a tiny group of companies and elites. The result? Extreme inequality. Everyday people still desperately need money to survive, but don't have the jobs to earn it. Then there's Future B, where ownership is broadly distributed. The infrastructure is shared, making essential services widely accessible to everyone. The huge takeaway here is that the future of money isn't just about the tech, it's entirely dependent on the political choices and ownership models we choose as a society.
Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 8, evolution, not extinction.
When it comes down to it, asking if money will completely go extinct is probably the wrong question. It's more about what it will evolve into. The future rarely just deletes old systems overnight. Usually it transforms them. Just like shells turned into coins and paper turned into digital banking apps, whatever we use today is going to transform again. Cash might become a relic, banking might turn completely invisible, and your AI might handle all your daily transactions. But as long as we're human, and as long as we want things that are scarce, we are going to need some kind of system to figure out what those things are worth.
So I'll leave you with this final, massive question to chew on. If our technology actually succeeds in creating enough abundance for everyone on Earth to live comfortably, will humanity choose to share it? Or will we just invent brand new forms of scarcity to keep the game going? What do you think we'll choose by the end of this century? It is wild to think about, especially as we watch it all unfold right in front of us. Thanks so much for diving into this explainer with me, and as always, keep questioning the future.